Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? How are we doing, guys? Anyone wants to tell me how they're doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. What about the rest of you guys? Rachel, Danielle, Larissa, how are we doing? Anyone wants to share with us?
I'm fine.
Good. So just to let you know, guys, I'm gonna introduce what I'm gonna record today, tell you a couple of important things. And then, of course, you can first ask me questions. But let me make a few announcements that are not necessarily new to most of you. I've been making these announcements, but they're well, you're gonna hear. All right. And of course, as usual, you can always ask me questions anytime. So, guys, I have completed the study guide. Okay, so this is final. All right, you're going to get 120 minutes, 2 hours. The exam is going to be on July 27th, available for 24 hours. You want to take it before July 28th, 8 o'clock. It should be wrapped up. Okay, it'll be just shutting down. Now, we are going to work on 3.1 today and tomorrow. It's quite likely we will wrap up 3.1 today. Okay, I'm not going to start a new section tomorrow. So if we wrap up 3.1 completely, then tomorrow I'll be here to take questions. We won't have any recording. We're kind of wrapping up and you can winding down, so to speak. You can probably sense that we have one more lecture. We'll have a full class today. All right, so that's that. This is the syllabus. I don't see how I'm going to add anything. Even if we wrap up 3.1, I'm not going to start 3.2. We could. I don't like to cram a lot of things in the last part of the semester. All right, so that's that. You can ask any questions. Please read it and see if it makes sense. I will actually do you guys a little favor. I know you didn't ask for it. I'll pull out some of the P sections. I don't think you'll see a lot of those. So I'll give you a little bit of a break. But you do want to study the past exams a little bit, but as far as I know, I'm not going to give you a lot of P stuff. Okay, let's pull those out. All right, you will get 2 hours. There will be proportionately more questions. Okay, so if I give you 25, I give you 35 questions. Okay, 30 questions. You will get 2 hours because that's the time assigned by the university. Another important thing, guys, if you look at, okay, give me 1 second. My mouse is acting funny and they always do. Okay, if you look, and this is important, guys, for everyone. If you look at the assignments, okay, and I'll make a couple of announcements and both are important. I did assign stuff from 3.1. Why did I do that? It does say optional ungraded. What does that mean? You can do it as practice because you're going to see 3.1 on the exam, on the final. So you can practice. Those of you who like to practice, you can do it, but I won't grade it. Why wouldn't I grade it? So that you have a little bit of time to do the homework, okay? So as promised last week on Thursday, I said I will not assign anything beyond 2.7, and I'm sticking to that. Why did I assign 3.1 then? Well, it's not really a sign. You can do it, but when I download your grades, I'm not going to look at it. So make sure you understand what I'm saying about 3.1. And you do also, it would help if you do understand that you know why I gave you. You can practice. These are the same problems you're going to see on the final. It gives you a nice opportunity to practice and you paid for it. It's your book. Might as well. Okay. Another important thing, guys, today is the 25th. You want to wrap up your homework by midnight tomorrow. Okay. And I won't be able to change the dates. I have to turn in the grades real soon. The university doesn't give us a lot of time. So I have to, add, subtract, do a lot of work and check and recheck. So you want to wrap up your homework problems before the 26th at midnight. Now, this was assigned on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, let's say Thursday, because that's when we study 2.7, Thursday. So you got some time, hopefully. So any question on homework and the final and all those housekeeping stuff? Any questions, guys? Don't be shy. Okay, guys, we're gonna, again, you can ask me any questions from MATLAB, from homework, past stuff, nothing from 3.1 because we haven't started 3.1. We're gonna start 3.1 right now. And again, you can always say, well, can you do something from 2.7? Sure, no problem. So, okay, a couple of things. Doesn't really, it's not that important. I'm gonna use a different software today. I like it better for certain things, not that it affects you too much. So I'm going to use this. I like it. It's better than Mathicon Polypad. I like Mathicon Polypad as well. Now, we're going to do this guy. Okay, before actually we do it, guys, let's go back to our simple. The good news is 3.1 is quadratic functions. And what's so cool about quadratic functions? Well, it really builds on transformations that we have done. So let's go to Desmos and do a little graph. I'll show you. So it really builds on 2.7. And that's the good news. And another good news is this is not a difficult section. Okay, so we have seen y. I hope I'm sharing my screen. Yes, I am. Y is equal to x squared. Give me 1 second, okay? Y is equal to x squared is a parabola. This function is decreasing, stops at the origin, then increasing. It's like, I call it a U, the letter U, shaped curve. It's really called, the formal name is parabola. Now, so that's nothing new. We have seen it. What happens, guys, if I do something like this based on our lesson on 2.7? I'm gonna, well, if you want me to use f of x, that's fine. I like that better. So here, g of x is gonna be x squared, same as f of x, plus 5. Makes perfect sense. We have studied last time that if you add plus 5, it pushes the curve 5 units up. If you subtract 5, it pushes the curve 5 units down. Nothing new. We have done it. Now, I'm going to go back to h of x. Okay, h of x is going to be same as this function g of x, except for instead of x, I am going to replace x with x minus 2 this time. And I'm going to keep my minus 5 intact. So again, okay, so bear with me. You do want to understand this. If you understand this, everything that we do from this point forward will seem like a breeze, okay? Now, if you don't understand this, it will seem magical. Okay, last class on Thursday, we learned any function 5 units down. And when you replace x with x minus 2, it pushes this function, g of x, 2 units to the right. And that's exactly what it did. This red function is this one. Blue one is 5 units down. And the green one is the blue one pushed 2 units to the right. Why do we care, guys? The reason we care is this is a quadratic function. It's called the standard form. And we're going to find this coordinate of this vertex. Okay, the coordinate of this vertex will be, compare the original one to this. The first function has a vertex at 0, 0. If you push it 2 units to the right and 5 units down, its vertex will be 2, comma, minus 5. And let's change it. Let's change it. If I push it 5 units, 4 units up, what will happen? 4 units up, 4 units up. Sorry, 4 units down. Oh, well, we said up, we're going to do plus 5. And let's make it minus 6. Take a look at what happened. So this 4 units up, that's exactly what the blue one is compared to the red one. And 6 units to the right, that's exactly what it is compared to the blue. The green one compared to the blue one is 4 units, 6 units to the right. Minus 6 means to the right. So what are the vertices? What are the coordinates of this vertex? This tip is called the vertex. It's going to be 6, comma 4 coming from here. 6, comma 4. Let's do one more. Let's pause there a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, guys?
So is that what we're looking for, is the vertex?
At this point, yes, correct. We want to know, you will see, you are more likely, I shouldn't say more likely, they'll give you a curve like this. I'll say, find the vertex. You would say, oh, that's easy. This is, you don't even need this, to be honest. You're going to say, okay, I know what this is like. So this is going to be 6 units to the right, 4 units up. So I know the vertex is 6, 4. That's all we are looking at this point. And then we're going to do a little more. This is 3.1, just a tad bit more, not a whole lot more, but you do want to understand this. Let's do one more. What will happen if I do plus 6?
It's gonna move to the left.
Exactly. And so your vertex, your main function that you're interested in, the green one, its vertex is negative 6, 4. That's all we kind of need to bring from 2.7. That's all. Then we're going to do new stuff building on that. So now, having said that, guys, let's go back. Let me erase this. That's all this is trying to say. It seems very technical. It seems very complex. That's all they're trying to say. They're trying to say, yeah, they're using H and K and all that, all those, variables. But that's okay. We can handle them. Minus H. I will talk about this A. This A is also connected to transformation, but keep one thing in mind, that A can be 0. If A is positive, the parabola is open upward, and this is based on reflection. I'm not going to spend 15 minutes. You can keep this in front of you when you take the exam. When A is 2, the curve will look like this. When A is -3, the curve will look like this. I'll show you on a graph in a second, okay? So keep that in mind. A is positive, and we say opens upward like this, like a flower. And when A is negative, it opens downward. It's more like a mountain, okay? And other than that, it makes sense why H and K will be the vertex of the coordinates of the vertex of the parabola, this tip or this tip. Now, it is very important, guys, to see that my mouse had to be bad now. Anyway, sorry, guys. You really want to see this has to be a minus and this has to be a plus. If this is a plus, you have to adjust it. So keep that formula in front of you when you take the exam. That's an important formula. It's called the standard quadratic form. Let's explore A a little bit. Okay. I don't need this anymore. Okay. I'm going to make A +4. It opens upward like as promised. I'm going to make A -4. Oops. It opens down. The vertex doesn't change. I'm going to make A -2, opens downward. I'm going to make A +4. Sorry, +4, maybe +3. We had +4, so it opens upward. So you can always test it. And this is formally summarized here. That's all there is to it. Okay, guys? Let's see if we have any questions before we do a couple of, well, let me go over. Let me go over one. Let's pause there a little bit to see if anybody has any questions on this slide. And I'm going to get a tissue, guys, okay? I'm not going too far. All right, guys, so lecture continues and I could go ahead and do a couple of problems, but I think we have to understand one more thing, and then I think we should be able to handle all the problems. So there is more, and we will get to it. Instead of going over it now, if I go over it now, it won't make a whole lot of sense. I'll just be reading it and you can do the same. But when I do the problems, it'll make a little bit of sense. I'm going to say, remember that little box, this is what they mean. I'll come back to it. Don't worry. Okay, this is important and a little difficult. So I'm going to take this guy and bring this guy here. All right, now, okay, so guys, you're going to see the function, quadratic function in that form. So this is called vertex. Okay, so you will also see it in this form. They're going to tell you this is also a quadratic function. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. They're calling it A. I'm going to call it 3x squared. I just made it up, plus 4x plus 5. This is also a quadratic function. It's not in the standard form and you cannot find the vertex so easily, but we have a formula which is generally easy to prove. The vertex, if this is the form you're given, if your quadratic function is given in this form and people call it the standard form, I'm going to make it a little bigger. I can't make it too big, then I don't have any room to write, but that's okay. Now, in my example, A is 3. Well, I'm gonna share with you guys something here that I like. Give me 1 second. Okay, in this picture, A is 3, B is 4, and C is 5. Okay, you do have to take the signs into account. Okay, in this problem, the problem I have has this. Okay, fine. Using this formula, you can write the vertex. They will give you this equation. They'll tell you find the vertex. You will say, oh, according to our formula, the vertex V, it's going to be vertex V. Let me see, something is going on with my mouse, guys. I apologize. Let's see if I can make it a little better. I think that's much better. Okay, the vertex V, I'm going to just use the letter V. Okay, guys. I'm going to use the letter V. And I'm going to say, according to this formula, the vertex will be minus B over twice A minus B minus 4 over twice A. Twice A is 6. And I don't know what this is, but you have to find the value of the function. Remember some of these things we did a long time ago. You have to put it in the function to find it. I'm going to find it for you. Okay. Minus B is minus 4 divided by twice A. If A is 3, twice A is 6. But I'm going to write it like this, a little nicer because the numbers are smaller. Okay. All right. Now, how do I find f of minus 2/3? That seems like a challenge, but it's not that bad. Okay, I'm going to do it by hand today, but of course you can use your calculator. You're going to go back to this function. You're going to go back to this function and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to replace x with minus 2/3. So this will be 3 minus 2/3 squared, x is squared. Don't forget, put the sign here. That's important. 4 times x, which is minus 2/3. Plus 5. Yeah, you have to be careful and you can mess it up and all those things. And you're going to say 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9. Minus times minus is positive 4 nines is something you can write. And you multiply 4 times 2, you get 8. Don't forget the minus sign, minus 8 over 3 plus 5. I'm going to go down. Then you're going to say 3 and 9 cancels. You get 3, so you get 4/3 minus 8/3 plus. I want the bottom to be a 3. I multiply top and bottom by 3. I get 15 over 3. And now it's easy. 4 minus 8 plus 15, which 15 plus 4 is 19. 19 minus 8 is 11 over 3. This is your vertex. So this whole vertex, let me change the color. Your final answer turns out to be minus 2/3, comma, 11 over 3. Now, am I right? Did I mess up? I hope I'm right, but I'm going to graph this function and show you that I'm somewhat right. I know the numbers are a little wacky, but 11 over 3 is what? It's like 3 and 2/3. So we're going to find out. So I'm going to graph this on Desmos, okay? 3x squared, 4x plus 5. 3x squared, 4x plus 5. Okay. Okay, a couple of things to check. 3 is plus, that's your A. Okay, remember the A we talked about. If 3, this is plus, it's going to open upward. If this is minus, so that's a good sign. Where is the vertex? Okay, that's about right, guys. Remember, I'm going to go back and show you our vertex was minus 2/3. That's like negative 0.66. And our y coordinate of the vertex was 11 over 3. Trust me, 11 over 3 is exactly 3 and 2/3, which is 3.666. So I didn't mess up.
So, Professor, what are we gonna have to like look for? Are we supposed to get 11/3 and negative 2/3 for the test, or are we supposed to get the vertex?
Well, good point. Firstly, when we do the problems from the book and when I solve them, you would kind of see, I would accept both. If I give you this function, there are problems in your book that will say, find the coordinates of the vertex. And I expect you to answer something like this. You can enter it, you should enter it nicely, but this is acceptable. This would give you full credit. Okay, now, if you go use your calculator and give me this, I'll give you full credit as well. Most people will give you full credit. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
You can give me the vertex in the exact fraction format. That's more accurate. That's preferred by most people. You can give me the answer in decimal. You can graph it. Sure, you'll have access to Desmos. You can do it by hand. It's always a good idea to do two things. That way you know you are probably correct. Okay?
All right.
All right, let's do. I think we are ready, guys. I think we're ready to handle some of the problems. Again, this one, they give you a long lecture. I'm going to explain. This is really this with a little more. Well, when we do the problems, I'll say, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, one more thing, one more tiny thing, nothing serious, okay? This point is called the minimum. Okay, the vertex is the value of the function. The y coordinate is called the minimum value, just the y coordinate, okay, minimum. If you have a function like this, makes sense because it's the bottom. And these things will, the black function makes sense. This is A is -4. It's a parabola that opens downward. And we can easily find the vertex, no big deal. This vertex, but this point, at this point, when the vertex is, let me erase this. When A is negative, when A is negative, the parabola open downward. This is called, the Y coordinate is called the maximum. That also makes sense. The function will obtain its maximum value at this point. Okay, we're going to find the domain and range. Don't worry, we have the concepts. I will do it here and hopefully it'll be reinforced. So that's all the notes we need to know in order to dig into the problems. Okay, guys, let's see how we're doing. Okay, guys, let's see where we are. So I'm going to bring these guys here. Okay, this one is easy. Read the question. If I do this, I won't have the top. Let's read it right here. 1 through 4. The graph of the quadratic function is given below. This is called the standard form. Let's see what term this is called the standard form. And this is called the general form. They're not using that word, but most books call this the general form. Standard forms spits out the vertex very easily. Okay, so these are in the standard form. What is the standard form, guys? The standard form is y equal to a times x minus, it's important that it's minus, and it's important that it's square, and it's important that this is plus k. And if that's the case, the vertex will be in this format. H, comma, k, whatever h is. You have to write it in this format. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to do, okay, actually, this is not bad because they're giving you the function, which is fine, which is a nice warm-up activity for us. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to actually do it right here. I don't have to take it anywhere else. So they're saying select the following options. Okay, so I am going to look at each curve. So this one, I'm going to make it minus. This one, I'm going to replace it with -1. Because I have a plus, right? I need a minus here. So my vertex will be, my vertex for this one will be -1. And this is minus. I want it to be plus. So I'm going to do this. And this will still be minus. This is my vertex for this curve. -1, -1. Okay. And since A is 1, which is positive, it will open upwards. So I am happy with this being the answer, but I will check my bottom. Okay, my best answer is this. I don't have to check any further because this is the only curve. Oh, my bad. Let me go back. Minus, this is the only right hand, has to be. This is the only one that has a vertex at -1, -1. And this opens upward. So I would say, well, guys, let me go back to the other screen, okay? Let me go back to the other screen. It'll be a little more manageable. Give me 1 second, okay? I'm going to make this curve a little small because I need to take all 4 pictures. I have to match. And actually, for this, again, if I'm kicked out, don't worry, I'll be here. I'm going to go to Mathegon Polypad. Not that you care. Okay, I'm going to post it here. I'm going to say that we discussed that this function has a vertex at -1, -1. So this is the first one. All right. I'm going to do it nicely. This one, I'm going to write it like so. I'm going to write g of x as x minus -1 squared plus 1. That tells me the vertex is -1, (1). It opens up, they'll all open upward. So the vertex is -1 and 1, -1 and 1. I would go with this one. Okay. Now some of you will you will be able to do it in your head, but right now I'm going to say, okay, the third one, that's good. There's a -1. I don't have to mess with it. Remember, x minus h, and this is -1 square plus 1. And if this is h, this is k the vertex is h comma k, which turns out to be 1 comma 1, which turns out to be this one. H of x is this one. Opens upward. I'm happy. You can test other numbers, but it has to be this. This is your only one with the right vertex. All the vertices are off. Of course, you can argue this will be this, but be careful. Some books say, you know, all the answers won't match, blah, blah, blah. So let's check. Let's do it using a different color. I know I'm being a little sloppy. Let me go back. Let's do it better. I can do better. So I'm doing the last one. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to write it like this. X minus 1 squared. Remember, it's x minus h squared plus k. You want to have a plus k here. You're going to say plus. You just can't change the sign. You have to have a plus minus k. Now that tells you the vertex is 1 comma minus 1. Hopefully the last one. Oh boy. Okay, that one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah, 1 comma minus 1. This one is this one. Has to be, look, 1 comma minus 1. That's what we got. So I'm going to pause there a little bit, guys. Okay, just a little bit to see if you have any questions. So these problems, they want you to find the vertex. These are given in the standard form, and the vertex is easy to find. You'll find it and check. What will I give you on the exam? I won't be able to give you matching. I can give you ABC. I can just ask you to find the vertex of this, and we have problems like that in our section in section 3.1. So I will just ask you to find the vertex. I could give you this ABC, make 4 graphs and ask you to choose number 1 goes with A, B, or C. Number 2 goes with A, B, or C. I could. Those are the 2 ways I'll give you. Let's see if we have any questions. We're just using the standard form. What is the standard form? This form. This form. Okay. And this is called the general form. And the A is the same. And the general form, the x coordinate of the vertex is always minus b over twice a. And whatever this number is, put it in the function to find the y coordinate. Okay, guys, this will kick me out anytime. Let's get out of this session and come back really soon, really fast. Okay, see you soon, guys. I'm not going anywhere.